Everybody, and welcome back to my podcast. Today we are sitting on a little bench table thingy, picnic table, maybe that's the right word for it, and I have one of my new best friends with me, Nathan. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Aw, new best friend. Yes, I'm Nathan Salway. I'm from Clovis, California. I was Kyra's co-counselor last week here in Monmouth, Oregon, and yeah, that's me.
Okay, tell me about what you're studying and where you go to college.
Yes, so I was up at college in BYU, Idaho, in Rexburg. Recently, I transferred down to a school called Provo College to study nursing. So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
And that's what you want to do long term then?
Something like that. Possibly healthcare administration, possibly becoming a nurse anesthetist, but
oh, that's
nursing,
right, you told me that.
Yeah, nursing's kind of the gateway to what I want to get into.
That is true, that is true. Okay, so we decided that we were going to kind of create an episode for our youth, and so we have a few different questions or things that we're going to talk about. And I prepared Nathan with the questions beforehand, so hopefully we're both kind of prepared, but this is kind of what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about first impressions on Saturday and then on Sunday, because they're different. Favorite things about one another, our favorite phrases that each other say, one favorite... I'm sorry, I just read what you wrote for that. Okay, one favorite moment of the week, one difficult moment of the week, one cool miracle, last week versus this week, our goals as a co-ship, company taking it home thoughts, and bearing our mini little testimony. So, do you have any questions before we get started?
Not really. She was laughing because I had to take notes on every single thing because I sometimes just forget things when I'm talking, and I thought if I took notes it'd be a little easier to remember.
Low-key, I love when people come in with notes. I think it's great because then I don't ask a question and they sit there for so long, and I'm like, I sent you the questions. Anyway, okay, so first impressions on Saturday and then on Sunday. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay, so me and Kyra met in the airport very vaguely.
Yeah, it was very brief.
In line to get our tickets, I think it was. My first impression, honestly, I have tried to learn to see past first impressions because I make pretty bad first impressions sometimes.
As in, when people meet you, they're like, ooh.
Yes, I just, get so nervous about meeting people for the first time.
Okay.
That I feel like I don't act like myself. So when I meet other people, I kind of have learned to just give that benefit of the doubt. Not saying that Kyra was acting weird when I first met her at all, but I just try not to even think about, who is this person the first time that I meet them. But
that's fair.
I do remember meeting Kyra. I thought, I don't know what it was, but I thought she was going to be a little bit quieter for some reason.
And how wrong you were.
I was very wrong. That's why we have also Sunday night, because I learned that was very not true.
That is true. That is so funny, though, that you thought I would be quiet.
Yeah. Well, I honestly have had a co-counselors that are a little quieter in the past, so I think it was just kind of what I was expecting because it's kind of what I've seen. But
is that what you've mostly had?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I was wrong for sure.
You couldn't have been more wrong.
Yes,
actually.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so for those who don't know what Nathan looks like at this current moment in time,
explain exactly what I look like.
I feel like it's important to mention that this man. Well, actually, do you want to explain?
Sure. Basically, I buzzed my hair and bleached it about a week before I met Kyra, and I'm not a buzz bleach guy. If you know what a buzz bleach guy is, then you know what it is, but I'm not that. If that makes any sense to you. I was with my friends super late at night. We were like, let's do something fun. Somehow one thing led to the other. They convinced me to buzz my hair and bleach my head. So here I am.
If you were to go back in time, would you not do that?
You know what? The thing that got me to do it was my friend looked at me and she was like, are you going to regret doing it more, or are you going to regret 10 years down the line being like, why didn't I just do something funny, dumb with my hair when I could have? So I was like, honestly, no, I don't regret it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just funny.
It's kind of funny. And either you get immediate respect from youth, or you get, oh no.
Yes, yeah. But when I was in Utah, I feel like I got the respect.
You immediately got respect,
For
1,000%. Yeah. So the thing about buzz cut, bleach head is that it's kind of like a vibe of, I don't know, how would you explain the vibe?
Generally, you know what you're getting yourself into when you see a kid,
Yeah.
a youth with buzzed bleached hair.
They're kind of rebellious a little bit.
Probably a little disrespectful, maybe.
Yeah, that's
crazy
true.
is a good word to describe them.
Yeah,
rambunctious, maybe.
Yeah. They're really good friends with their buddies, normally. There's like a group of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, when I first saw Nathan, I was like, oh crap. This guy's not going to take anything seriously. We're not going to vibe. I'm going to have to like fight him on things. And I was like, shoot, this is not going to be good. And then I talked to you, and I was like, and I think he even said something about your hair. I was like, do you like act how your hair is or something? And he was like, no, I don't. So that made me feel better, and I like believed you.
Yep. Well, can I be honestly? When I first met, and when I first meet people since I've done this hair, I felt like I extra have to prove myself. Like I have to be like, trust me, I'm not what you think I am. But it's actually kind of fun to like, like social experiment wise of like, let's see if people really judge books by their covers,
or
which
if
it's
they treat you differently.
So hard not to. But yeah.
And then my impression of you on Sunday was I was stoked. I was like, this guy is freaking awesome. And I am really good at taking notes throughout the week. And so I just started taking notes. And then I think it was on Monday that I just felt prompted to add you, which I've never done that before. I've never added a code in my notes because normally I put like all the things on there.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to just have access to that. And so when I was like, I'm going to add you to these. Are you okay with that? And he was like, yeah, duh. And so you totally saw like my first impression thoughts of you, and they were very nice.
Yes,
I didn't have anything mean about you to say. I was like, he's such a good listener. He's so tender-hearted. You do this thing with your lip when like someone says something tender, you're like, oh. And I love it. And so, yeah, I was stoked. I just thought he is going to be someone to back me up. And I'm easily going to be able to back him up. And so I just felt really excited.
I would say, I didn't really get to talk about my Sunday impression, but I would say all of those things as well. It was definitely a lot different than Saturday because we started talking, and you started telling me these stories. Just learning how many weeks you did at FSY, the experience that you had, that got me excited because I've been with mostly people who this is their first year, which doesn't make the biggest difference, but I think...
Okay, I have something to add to about this. I don't think it being a first year is a problem, but having multiple years is a benefit.
Yes, I agree. And you had different years of experience of like, 2 years ago at FSY they did this completely different.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have the side app. It was all on paper.
Yes. So, like, you had these ideas that I'd never heard before that were really cool. I honestly wish we were codes earlier so that I could have implemented some things that we did.
Oh, yeah, that's
earlier
true.
on because we have 1 week left. But
don't you have one more after this or no?
This is just this last week.
Oh, that's it. So me too.
Yep.
Okay. But if you do it again...
It's true. I'll be fresh with new ideas.
Yeah, and I hope you hit me up because then I can like live through you.
I'll start a podcast. Everybody follow me at... No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I just mean hit me up, and we can talk about your weeks and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are first impressions. The next thing is favorite things about one another. And you went first last time, so I'll go first this time. But I honestly think the world of you. I've had, more than, let's see, I was going to say 18 co's, but that's not true, because my first year I had 5 trios, and then this year I was in California, so I had 2 trios, so I've had a lot of co's, right? Probably at least 25 co's, and you're 1,000% in the top 3 that I've had, and I literally have, 1 week left, so that was really exciting for me. I feel like you are so passionate about what you care about, and I really look up to that. I also think you are willing to learn from just about anyone, which is really awesome. And I think that you are super understanding and you're a great listener. You're a great person. I look up to your testimony. There's going to be weird background noises, just so you know. I also just feel like you have such a tender heart, and that's not very common, I feel like, in guys. It's just not. And so I think that when people have it, it is huge, and it says so much about them.
Kyra, that just buttered my biscuits. I was like, what do I say to that? That's so sweet.
I
I
honestly
appreciate
felt
you.
like I was trying to read your face. You looked impassive, and I was like, shoot, am I not saying what he wants to hear?
No, it's because I'm on a podcast right now and I'm nervous.
You're doing really good.
Thanks.
No, you have no idea. Some people just sit here, and I'm just like rescuing them. So you're doing really good.
Thanks. No, Kyra is one of the most humble people I know, and
Which is so funny, because I feel like I'm not humble at all.
hey, well, that's one of the main things I have noticed about you. And I think a word, though, that better describes Kyra is selfless, for sure. Something like Tuesday, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but Tuesday was kind of a hard day for me. Kyra knew, because Kyra always knows. That's another thing about Kyra, is she just is so close to the Lord, and she just receives revelation like no one I've ever met. But she knew, she could tell that I was just not having the best day, and she spent her 1 hour break. She had the shortest break that day. I knew she was tired as well, but she spent that time writing a note for me, and she told me she texted a friend as well. She spent that time thinking of others instead of taking a nap like I have done every single one of my breaks.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, though, seriously.
But just to your point, just the selflessness of I can think of probably, I don't know if I can think of any times that I noticed her thinking of herself. Every time she would be talking to me, it would be talking about a specific youth or a specific counselor or someone that she could reach out to help. And it was just cool. I think I've learned the most from Kyra out of any of my co-counselors.
Now you're buttering my biscuits.
Well, it's true. No, and especially I think also just revelation and stuff, just how she receives it. It's special to witness and be a part of.
I'll add something. You said something about how you believed my stories on Sunday, but it was a completely different experience to live them and to see them happen. Do you want to add any more about that?
No, so on Sunday you told me a few stories just of different things that had happened, and I did believe them. Some people will tell stories sometimes and I'm like, that's really cool,
You're
but that's a little far-fetched and I'm not too sure about that. But then I think it's just like anything else. You can hear about anything, but until you're there in the moment experiencing it, that's when it becomes from I believe you to this is real. And I feel honestly, just thinking back to the youth, I think a lot of them know that God loves them, but this week is so special because it's when they feel God loves them. And that's kind of what it was for me, is I know that the things that you're telling me are true, but I'm feeling the things that, or I'm experiencing these things that we just talked about.
Well, and additionally, you got to see that in R&R. And that was one thing this week that was just incredible, is Nathan and I had such good communication, and so we would call at the end of the night and he would just tell me about what the boys said in R&R. And that was such a treat for me. I can't even describe to you. I feel like most times I have no idea what's going on with the boys.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what's going on when I'm with them, but I don't get to know what they thought of the day, what they reflected and reviewed about. And so it was really cool to hear that they were like, hey, Kyra answered one of my prayers today. I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't have told me. And so I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we answered that question good.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Favorite phrases. This is the one that I saw his notes on and thought it was really funny.
Which one is it?
Something crazy just happened.
Okay, yes. So Kyra, swear to you, half the time I'd call her or I'd talk to her, she'd be like, okay, something crazy just happened. I'm like, oh no. Basically that's what I said back every time. I was like, oh no. And then I remember one specific time she's like, something crazy just happened. And I was like, what? And you were like, are you not surprised? Are you not going to say, oh no? And I was like, no, you say this every time I talk to you. I cannot keep being surprised. I need to just expect it at this point.
Oh my god, I'm laughing so hard. I didn't know that I said that. That's so
you said
funny.
either, I don't know if you said
you.
that exact phrase every single time, but you said something to that extent almost every time.
Well, it's not necessarily the something crazy just happened, but you were like, what? I was like, wait.
Yeah. I don't remember what you said back to that too, but you were shocked that I wasn't what? Because you just said it so often, and it was true. Something crazy always happened.
That is such a good point. Now that you say that, I remember it happening, but I remember when you were like, what? I was like, wait, are you not excited to talk to
Yes,
this?
I was like, I am. I'm always am, but oh yeah.
You're like, sorry, you can't surprise me.
Yeah.
All these things
Nice
anymore.
try. It's Thursday, Kyra. I don't get surprises anymore.
No, but it is true because there were a lot of miracles at R&R, or just cool things that the girls said, or random things that my sister was telling me about, and so I decided, obviously, to let you know about them. And I do say, something crazy just happened. Because it is. They're normally pretty dang crazy.
Yeah.
Was there ever any time that I said, something crazy just happened, and you were like, that wasn't that big of a deal?
I don't think so. Not that I would think back. I don't think so.
I mean, that being said, I feel like sometimes I'm like, something crazy just happened, and then it was even crazier than just the word something crazy just happened.
Yeah.
And so there's that too.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Oh, never mind. Nathan says, so true, all the time.
So true.
Yeah, and I freaking love it. And then our AC this past week, she kept saying, that's crazy. Or she'd be like, that's so crazy. I don't know, just about literally anything. For example, if someone did something really stupid, she'd be like, that's crazy. You know?
Yeah, that was fun.
It wasn't just about miracles. It'd be like anything. Mm-hmm. Absolutely anything. She'd say, that's crazy. For example, one time we got out of the variety show 45 minutes late, and she was like, that's crazy.
That was crazy, though.
That was crazy. Okay, next question. One favorite moment of the week. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Honestly, I had too many favorite moments to count, and I'm really grateful for that because I feel like sometimes if I get one or two, I'm lucky. Sometimes weeks are just hard, you know, and I just feel kind of discouraged. And honestly, Satan is so mean because you say I'm someone that receives personal revelation and is just really good and close to spirit, and I'm not saying you're wrong because I think you're right. But I feel like Satan is so mean to me that he just sometimes comes at me, and he'll tell me, like, you're not doing anything this week. You haven't had a crazy miracle. You haven't had anything big. You should go home. I kid you not.
Yeah.
I kid you not. My second week of FSY, I texted my grandma and I said, why didn't someone hit me upside the head and tell me, why are you doing this again? Like, what are you doing? And obviously, I've felt less and less like that. But that week was hard, and I just thought, genuinely, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And when you wrote me a note back, because I wrote him one and he wrote me one back, you said, I'm really glad that you did it and you came back a third year, which actually was one of my favorite sentences of your note. It just felt really nice to hear that because even though I know I am making a difference, it's just hard to be like, well, this is your third year, so what?
Yeah.
You know? So, anyway, favorite moment of the week, though. I would say Wednesday night was really cool when I said the prayer for the girls. I am never really sure 100% how it goes until I, ask them about it. Because even though they're all sobbing and there's so many tears everywhere and their faces are all red and flushed, I'm still doubting. Like, shoot, what if they were just sad?
Yeah.
Which is never the case, you know. But that was a really cool moment and very miraculous this week. And then I agree with what your note says. Friday night was so good. Company taking it home is just really awesome. And I would say as we were singing a child's prayer and watching the youth just be so affected and so impacted by that, it was such a sacred and tender moment for me.
Yeah. No, yeah. Friday nights will always and have always been my favorite. But just like this Friday night especially, there was just such a sweet spirit that was there.
So good.
I mean, I had just a lot, more than usual, just a lot of one-on-one moments with some of the boys who just came up to me and talked to me.
Yeah.
Whether it was when we were standing out by the tree or after we already went back to the apartments. And I got to give them all hugs before they all went to bed that night and just standing there feeling it all. Every single time I'm like, I wish I could put this feeling in a bottle because I know I'm going to need this feeling again. Yes. There are just times, life is like a roller coaster. I feel like no matter what you do and how consistent you are, life will always have its ups and downs.
100%.
But that feeling, those Friday night feelings are just the highs, and they're amazing.
100%. I think that's why I love podcasting and journaling and all of the things, because it is kind of like bottling that emotion. Mm-hmm. And even though you can't feel that exact emotion, listening to it back just reminds you of those feelings, and sometimes they kind of come back.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few times where I re-listened to one of my episodes with someone else, and I felt the spirit again.
Yeah.
And I just felt really grateful that I had taken the time to record that with them, you know. So, yeah, I completely agree. I think Friday was just really epic and really special. And Nathan and I are geniuses. We are geniuses.
Are we? Tell me why.
Wait, you know why? Because we, at the dance, like, purposely got in the very back of the line so that we were in the auditorium in the back so that they would let us out first so that we had more time at company taking it home.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're geniuses.
Because company taking home is usually 30 minutes.
If I was in charge, I would make it an hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had 45 minutes, and I think we still went over our 45 minutes that we had.
Oh, 100%. I think we were...
Probably close to an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was 15 to 20 minutes over.
Yeah.
But other companies were still out, too, so I didn't feel too bad.
No, me neither.
Okay, next question. One difficult moment of the week.
Okay, I'll go first on this one. There are always, like, it does not matter the group, it does not matter where you are, there are always difficult moments. Just because it is physically, emotionally, like, spiritually, it just drains you.
It is. It really is.
For, like, all of the best reasons. But Tuesday was that day for me where I just was feeling drained, and I was kind of feeling defeated.
I just had a feeling. I left to go on my really small little break, and you went to go do gospel study. And I just had a feeling, like, you need to text Nathan. And I was like, okay, done. But I just kind of felt bad because I know some of the youth, or was that specifically when Randy came up to us and was like, or was it Wednesday that you felt that way?
I think it was Tuesday.
Okay.
No, maybe it was Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday.
It was Wednesday, because you taught the first gospel study. Yep.
Yeah, so it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I just thought, Randy came up to us, and she's so sweet. She's like, can I come to your gospel study? And I was like, you most definitely can, but I'm not teaching.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, then I don't want to come anymore. And Nathan was like, hey!
Which I totally was joking. Like, and I knew, because she really is, like, the one that's over you, and my AC, like, Ammon is the one that's over me. Yeah. So it made sense. And I just stood there, I heard her talking, and I was like, hey! Yeah. And then, like, we laughed about it. Yeah. But I think that's kind of what I was feeling a little bit, is
I just knew it.
Yeah.
Like, I sat there and thought, shoot, I bet Nathan's really beating himself up right now.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, I need to do something to lift him up, because even though we're at different stages, I had to remind him that this is my third year.
Yep.
And there's a difference. I was not the counselor that I am today a year or 2 years ago or even a year ago.
Yeah. Well, and I think something that I had to learn this week was that and everybody receives revelation differently. And we had talked about how you received revelation before. And Tuesday it happened, you had gospel study with the youth, and you had these amazing one-on-one experiences with these youth. And, like,
it's true.
We're able to touch each of them. And for me, I was like, okay, I need to be at this point where she is.
Yeah.
So I had spent time, like, during that gospel study that same day, while you were writing me the letter in your room, I was at gospel study, and I was sitting there, and I was, like, looking at each of the youth, and I was like, give me something, God. Like, I need something. Just, like, give me a prompting to go sit by this person, tell me what to tell them. And nothing really came to me in that moment, at least nothing strong did. Actually, I realized later that one of the youth that I went up to and talked to, it impacted them in a big way, which I think was really cool. But in that moment, I felt like I wasn't receiving revelation, even though maybe I was.
And maybe I didn't describe to you what it's like, because for me, when I look at someone, I have no idea what I'm going to tell them. I have no idea. Yeah. In fact, sometimes I don't even know when I sit down what I'm going to... I'm literally sitting next to them, like, can I share something with you? Yeah. And they're like, sure, and I'm like, crap, what am I going to share? Like, I don't know. Yeah. And sometimes, right when I sit down, I get it, and sometimes right before I go over, I get it. But it is very, very rare that I know what I'm going to say when I go up to them.
Yeah, well, I've experienced that before as well, and I think part of me was I was just fearful, and I was kind of lacking in that moment the faith to get up and to sit by somebody. So that's more what I was beating myself up for, is I feel like I was like, wait, I can receive revelation, but I'm just struggling in taking, like, the steps required or the faith required to receive that revelation I need to.
That makes sense. Well, sometimes it's because it's awkward or it's embarrassing or it feels weird. And trust me, I get that. Even now, I do stuff, and sometimes youth are like, okay. For example, at one of the meals, I saw this kid and told him, like, hey, I just feel like I need to let you know Heavenly Father loves you and is aware of you and is aware of your concerns. And he looked at me deadpan and was like, okay, and then walked away. And I was like, okay, I feel really dumb right now. Yeah. Like, extremely stupid. Yeah. And if he would have been like, thank you, obviously I wouldn't have felt dumb. Yeah. So I think sometimes I just have to say, their reaction is on them. That doesn't mean that what I did wasn't following the prompting. Because I watched this one devotional. It's called "You Are Receiving Revelation, Now Act Upon It." Did you ever watch that?
I love it. Yep.
And he basically talks about how his mom had this prompting to call someone while she was doing laundry. So she immediately stopped and she called this person.
Yeah.
And they were like super rude to her on their phone. They're like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And they were just they're like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you calling me?" And then they just kind of hung up. Like, it was just a very, brief interaction that wasn't super positive. And his mom was like, "Okay," and then just went back to doing laundry. And then a few days later, they show up at her house. I was like, "I need you to know why you called me.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to tell me." And then she's like, God told me to. And he's like, no. Or she's like, no, you need to tell me why.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm telling you why. I felt like I needed to call you." And that person was about to make a decision that would change their life forever, right? End their life. And his mom, the person speaking, his mom following that revelation saved that person's life. And so I think sometimes people react, they don't know how to be vulnerable, and so they just say, "Okay,"
Yeah.
And so sometimes I don't think that the response that I'm looking for is necessarily always what I'm going to get, but I think I am always following God's promptings. Because if it's random and it's to someone, I'm sorry there's background noise, but it should be fine. But if it's random and I don't even know who this youth is, and I just have an idea to just talk to them, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Even if they say, "Okay,"
Yeah.
and I feel dumb. So anyway, I asked Nathan if we could record another one because we're hitting the limit, and he agreed, so we'll start another one. But I just wanted to thank you so much for listening. Our youth, if you're listening, we love you. We hope that you're doing well. We hope that you're doing your gospel study every day, right?
So true.
So true. So anyway, thank you for listening. Don't forget to embrace imperfection, find meaning, satisfaction, and joy from the journey. I'm Kyra.
I'm Nathan.
And this is Imperfectly Broken, the podcast.
Do 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 do.